Hey, good afternoon, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the NAV Skills webinar. Today we're going to go into Visual Studio Code. We have Dmitry Katson with us. I met Dmitry a couple of weeks ago for the first time when I was visiting St. Petersburg. We had a wonderful day together at the Summer Palace, and we talked about doing webinars. Dmitry volunteered to do a webinar, so I'm very happy to have him with us today. Before I give the floor to Dmitry, a couple of housekeeping things. If you want to see which webinars are coming, you can go to our website and see which webinars we have scheduled. In November, we are going to do a continued VS Code webinar. We're going to do Git 101. We're going to do job queue, and I'm already planning some stuff for December. Doesn't mean that we're not looking for speakers or content. Everybody who wants to join is more than welcome to do so. For example, we are going to do a webinar about an upgrade. Somebody upgraded a 1.3 terabyte database. So I'm definitely curious to listen to how those guys pulled that one off. Past webinars are on our YouTube channel. Very happy to say that we now have 50,000 views and 1,000 subscribers to our channel. So that's picking up really nice. There was an issue with the sound recording with the previous webinar, the RDLC refresher, and we're going to re-record that together with Dave. So if you missed that one and you're wondering why that doesn't show up on the YouTube, of course I'm more than willing to put it there, but doesn't help with no sound. If you have any questions, type them in the GoToMeeting questions window. If it's not urgent, I will hold your questions until the end. It's always fun as a speaker to have questions, so please, if you have anything, that's the advantage of being here live versus going to the YouTube channel. And of course, I cannot mention it enough. He's always quiet, but Rick Williams of Liberty Grove Software is always with us in the back, helping with the techniques. He is setting up all the webinars. So thank you, Rick, for always being with us.
Thank you. This is me being quiet.
As I mentioned last week, we are looking for a specific speaker on a specific topic. I would like to do a webinar on NAV and IIS. This is a topic where there is not a lot of information to be found online. Maybe a little bit selfish because on my laptop my IIS crashed and I figured that, hey, this is something that I don't know anything about, so maybe somebody wants to talk and explain how NAV and IIS work together and how to do troubleshooting 101. Also in January, we're going to start the Development 101 series. If you want to join that, please send us an email. This is going to be a video series where you can send your new developers to, and we're going to cover the basics of NAV development there. So with that, I think Dmitry has a lot of ground to cover, so I'm going to change presenter and give the floor to Dmitry. Dmitry, you have the floor.
Okay, I will share my screen. Do you see my screen?
Not yet, but
okay.
We will get there.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
This is where in the future we will hand out webinar bingo cards, and we will put popular phrases there like good morning, good afternoon, and we will put there, can you see my screen, or can you hear me? And the first one who has bingo wins a prize.
So now you should use, now you should
I can see it. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, great. So good morning and good day and evening to everyone once again. Thanks for joining this webinar. My name is Dmitry Katson, and today we will dive into the world of Visual Studio Code and apps for Dynamics NAV and Dynamics 365 Tenerife as the last known name of this our lovely NAV. So this briefly about myself. I live in St. Petersburg, as Mark mentioned. I have about 13 years of experience in NAV, and during this period I was a developer and architect and project manager and CEO of company, and during this year I decided to share my knowledge with the community. I started to blog, YouTube channel, and coaching other developers. So why our webinar is called Today VS Code for Those Who Are Still Afraid? Some years ago, when Microsoft announced that they will change platform for Nav development from C-side to Visual Studio Code, I personally was very afraid. Why? Because there was no details about this change, and there was a chance that old CL will gone and will be replaced by some other language, and all previous experience will be lost, and as a result I can even lose my job. So now we're in 1 month from official launch from Nav 18 with Visual Studio Code support, and we have now more detailed, of course, and today we will try to answer a question: should we be afraid or not? So to understand the difference in architecture between old and new, or how it's called a modern development environment, we should answer on 2 questions. What is a platform and what is a programming language? So for old development environment, which is called C-side, the platform is called C-side, it's client-server integrated development environment. And actually, it is just a finsql.exe file, and we see, and when we open it, we see objects, and objects are the records on object table. And the programming language is CL, which is client-server application language, and we write code on this language, and compiler in platform of C-side understands it. And code really is stored in glob field on object table. Yeah. If we're talking about a new development environment, the platform is called Visual Studio Code, and when we open this platform, we see projects. And on this platform, we can write our code on different languages, on C#, Java, Python. And our project, when we open our project, it consists of files. So this is file-based platform. And language for Dynamics NAV is called AL. But to understand AL language, platform should have compiler, and compiler for this platform is called AL extension for Visual Studio Code. So just once again, we have many extensions for Visual Studio Code, and AL compiler is just one of them. So to write code for NAV, now we should have Visual Studio Code. We should download AL extension and create files with .al file extension. What is app? App is some functionality that extends standard behavior of a system. And extension model appeared first in NAV 16 with events, but platform which is used to write extension was C-side. So now this model is called extension version 1. And with the Visual Studio Code, we've got new platform, new language, and new data types to create extensions. And this model is called extensions version 2. So in all development environment, we packaged our solution in FOP files. And in new development environment, we package our app in .app file. And app file consists of .al files with the business logic, app.json file with information about our app, and launch.json file about information about where we should publish our app. So what's the difference between FOB and app? App don't contain any standard code of NAV, just our code. We publish app on NAV instance using VS Code or PowerShell, or we use app source in case of Tenerife or Dynamics 365, it's called now. Source code of app is not visible to others after publishing, and we don't need developer license to write code, but we need license to publish app on NAV instance. So to create a project, as it now in preview mode, we should create Azure VM, a virtual machine from Tenerife template. We run Visual Studio Code there, and we create a project. And to create app, we run Visual Studio Code. We can open folder, or we can create new project, or we can clone, for example, our project from GitHub. And then we modify app.json file and launch.json file. We download symbols, and symbols are the code base of our main NAV system. And then we make our code. And when we finished, we open our project, or we are in our project, and we have several options how to publish our app to NAV instance, and we can just save it as an app without publishing. In our demo, I prepared a demo for this webinar, of course. And in our demo, we will create an app from scratch to finish app, and it will download types of airplanes from external web servers, and it will show then flights of these airplanes, of this type, where they're flying now. But before we will start to create our app, we should think about user experience. How user will use the app, and what is the user story. So for this app, for this demo app, a user will start from item list, and he will receive notification about that he have new app with two options: to start app or to learn more. And if he click on setup, he will open another airplane types list. It will be empty, and he will receive notification to update it. And when he updates, he will receive data from external web servers, and he will click a button, create item, and new item card opens, and there he will have a button to click current flights to see where such types of airplanes are flying now. Or if he click on step before learn more, he will play a YouTube video. So this is our virtual machine, and we open a Visual Studio Code. This is the first screen, and to create a new project, we press Ctrl-Shift-P, and we choose ALGO. We create new project, webinar demo, and we choose to connect to local server. First, what we should do, we should change setups in launch.json file to say the system that we want to connect to this to which NAV instance, and we can change the publisher on app JSON file, and we save it, and now we are ready to download symbols. So to download symbols, we also press Ctrl+Shift+P, and we can download symbols, and symbols have been downloaded. So symbols are stored in AL packages folder, and these are the code base of our NAV. We will delete standard hello world. Oops, I think I deleted some good file. Okay, so now we'll create a new table. Which we'll call creating a new file. .al. Inside this file, and there is some interesting thing. That appears. Hello, something with connection.
You lose connection to the VM? Dmitry, you still there? Yep, there you are.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
And I see your table now.
Connect.
Nope.
So I will reconnect to VM. Yes. Do you see my screen?
Yep. So I think we're back.
Yep.
Welcome to the world of live demos.
Yeah. So I'll create a new table with a snippet. And snippet is a predefined code template. So for a table, we have a snippet T table, and we type the name, and we will add some fields. So the first field will be code with a code type, and two more fields. One will be description with text. And as you see that when I am typing something that I have different notifications from VS Code, and it simplifies our life much. This will be 11. And one more field will be called popularity, and it means that it will show the popularity of airplane type in the world. And we should add some options to our fields, and to see options we can press Control space, and first of all we can add, for example, caption ML. And another option which is very important in apps is access by permission, which will tell the system that if a user will not have access to the main table, which is item in our example, then it will not be accessible to fill this table. And if we don't use caption ML, then it will be by default name. And if we type caption ML here, popularity %, you see that it is on the left, and we want to see good formatting, and we have another extension to Visual Studio Code that I very love. It is called AL Formatter, and we can just press Control Alt Shift Alt F, and good formatting will be automatically. We will add a primary key, and we will add a secondary key. Popularity. So created this one. So we have created a new table, and we will create a new page for this table. Type list.al, and the same snippet we have for a table or for a page. And as a source name, we can just type airplane type, and editable will be false. And I want also sorting for my table. So it will be source table view sorting by popularity, order, and we will add fields to our columns. Yeah, we'll add columns to our list. So we have our code, and we have description, and we have popularity. That's it. To publish, to see what we've got, we will change a launch startup object ID to the number of our page, and we press Ctrl+Shift+P and publish without debugging, and or Ctrl+F5. And now it's opened. We see our page, but we don't see any columns, which is strange because we inputted it there. The secret is that when we creating apps, we should use some property which is called application array, and we should use it in every field. So to be more productive, we can click on Alt, and we now in Visual Studio Code have multiply cursors, and we can type application area all and use formatting to automatically format this. If we click on Ctrl+F5 now, we see that our fields appear. So as we have about half an hour for the rest of the demo, I prepared this full demo on GitHub, and now I will show you how to clone a project from GitHub. But before, I want also to show you one interesting. When we in all development environment receive a FOB from a partner, for example, or we have created this FOB, it contains only objects, and we can download these objects. But in apps, app also have such property as ID, and it is a GUID which is created automatically by when we create our project. So if I open the same project in GitHub, it have the same object, but another ID. ID is a difference. So what will be if we will download this project from GitHub? So to do this, we press Ctrl+Shift+P, git clone, and we use a repository URL, and we'll use documents, a folder where we'll store we'll store our project. You see that it is cloning, it is been cloned, and we can open a repository. So it opened another project, and I have different branches here. And the first branch, it is a page and table that we created manually. And what will be if it have the same object ID and the same name, the same fields, but what will be if we will publish this app? So we press Ctrl F5, and we have an error. So error tells us that the application object of type table 5100 is defined in multiple apps. So what should we do in this case? We don't have any options to unpublish our previous app until on current moment, and we should use some PowerShell commands to unpublish our app. So we should unpublish our previous app. We have some. First, we will see what apps are installed. So we have this app which we installed previous, and this app that we tried to publish from GitHub. So we will unpublish this one, but to unpublish we should use uninstall first. Demo, and after it uninstalled, we should unpublish it. After we have unpublished it, we can try to publish this app once again. Yeah, and it is published. So another step, if we see here, that another step will be to download data from external web servers. And first we should, if we use Git, we should commit our modifications to change branch. And the second branch is integration with web servers. So I will not go deeply in integration with web services because it was a previous webinars where Vieko told about this, and I took, frankly speaking, his example and example from Kaufman's blog. But where should we start? We will add an action page to download data from web servers, and after it downloads, we will update this page, and if there is data, we will give a message. And if we go here, this is a separate code unit. We have a procedure here, get airplanes types, and we run another procedure get lines type from IATA codes. And here the logic is the next. We init arguments with some URL. This is addition to URL, and we call verb servers, and we save a result in airplane types table. And when we init arguments, we fill URL, and we get a base URL, and there are some IP requests. The base URL will be separate web servers, and 2 words about this. Also, a very interesting topic. When I prepared this example, I searched for web servers where I can take data about all airplanes types that exist in the world, but I didn't find such web servers. But what I found was some Excel lists of it, and but how to create a web servers from an Excel? We can, as option 1, we can of course use Azure tables, but this is very comprehensive way. And I found interesting site, getbridgeapp.co, and it creates web servers automatically from Excel file. So we just import an Excel, and it creates web servers with REST API for us. And I used this example. I published my Excel file and created my own API. Here it is. And then we use the REST method get. And when we call web servers, we receive feedback from it. And when we save results in procedure save results in airplane type table, we delete all data in it. We get a response from web servers. We fill JSON array, and we go through JSON array. We create a JSON object, and then here we create fill lines. So that's it. And if we publish this branch, we will see that here it is a button, an action, and we can click on it, and we receive a message that 215 airplanes types exist, and our list automatically orders by popularity. So step is to create item card from this airplane type, and we will commit step 2, and we will change branch, add item extension, and in item we will add another field. So to add a field to a standard object, which is item table, we have a new type of object in Visual Studio Code, which is table extension. And we, as another object to add, each has object ID. It has a name, and a word extends means that which standard object it extends. And then we add a new field, which is airplane type. And very important that you should use some abbreviation for your fields and for your in your apps, because not only ID can conflict, but also name can conflict with other apps. And here we have some business logic that if a user will input or choose this field, a standard description field will be also updated. So, and to show this field on item card, we also extend standard item card with a page extension, which extend item card, and we put this field, airplane type. Also, we use application area here as an example before, and we add our field after a standard field product group code. And the last, we also add an action, show leaf lights. We add this action before standard action warehouse, and this action will run procedure show current flights. If we go here, it just runs hyperlink and new URL, new page in Internet Explorer will open. We just tell the system and tell the URL what airplane type we should use. So, and to create an item, we add an action to airplane type list, create item, and we give some properties that it will be promoted. Promoted is big, and we also give application area and image, and it will be enabled only if there is any data. And also important thing here in VS Code, I found that if we create our variable without in dataset property, then this enabled property which look at our variable which is true or false will not work. Only if we use in dataset with in var area, this enabled property will work. So, and if our code is not empty, then our action is enabled. And to create item, we run new procedure. A new procedure to create a new item. So we init and we insert, and then we run page item card. Why this code is commented? Because I first wanted to use standard functions, a new item from a template, but if we run this site, and we go to record item template, and we go to new item from template function, and go to its properties, then we have okay. So we have two different properties here, internal and external. So then I see that everything changes very quickly. When I created this example a few weeks ago, function visibility here was internal. So and this means that if, the main feature that if there is internal, then we cannot use this function here in VS Code. And if this function is external, we can use it. So if we will run this branch, you see that when we rerun, when we republish our app, once again, all data is missed. This is by default now on, but Microsoft told us that we will have influence, we will have ability to influence it, what we should do with our data if we republish our app. And we can choose some record and create new item. And description is here, and airplane type is here. And an action is here. And if we push on this button, it will open flightaware.com, and we will see where airplanes of such type are flying on the moment. Great. Returning, so we have all the user experience except notifications. So the last step, we will add notifications. Stage 3, commit, and we'll have branch add notifications. And if we're talking about notifications, we should create another new separate code unit for notifications. And so we start from if we are looking here, user will receive notification when he opens item list. So item list is a standard page and to catch that user opened it, we use event subscriber, and this our new code unit. So we subscribe to an open page event for page 31, and our procedure will be notify user about new app, and it will show notification if airplane type table is there. And it calls show notification when it is not set up, and new notification, we create new notification. We get ID. I always store ID for a notification, and we have a message that you have installed new app, but it is not set up. Do you want to set up it now? And we have two actions to run setup or to learn more. So if user and these actions are stored in another code unit, notification actions. If we go there, then if user click on learn more about this app, it plays YouTube video. And this business logic, frankly speaking, I took from Gunnar on his previous webinar about how to publish apps. And if a user click on setup, new page for airplane type list will open. And if there, once again, on open page, if it is empty, then user will receive a notification to update the list. So seems like list is empty, you can fill it with one click, and we add action make me happy, and it runs procedure update airplanes type list in actions code unit. So if we go to actions code unit and update airplanes type list, it uses those the same function as when we as a button, as an action to update data from external web service. And now we can test it. We publish our app, and so to see item list, we change once again startup object ID for item list, and we see item list, and we see two notifications here. This is a standard notification about sales forecast, and this is our notification. You have installed new app, but it is not set up. Do you want to set up it now? If we click learn more, we open a YouTube video about our app. But when we click on notification, it disappeared, and I don't know if we can influence on it, frankly speaking. That's why I have updated the page, and to receive notification once again. And if we click yes, we see that it opens airplane type list. It is empty. We have here notification that list is empty, make me happy. So with pleasure click make me happy, and it downloaded all the data, and our message also was replaced there in code. I didn't show it. That list was updated.
Dmitry?
I'm yeah, I'm finishing now.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we have 5 minutes and we have a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah, I know. yeah, I see. So I'm finishing now.
Perfect.
And so that's it. That's it. So I'm, frankly speaking, finished with a demo, and so that was a very fast introduction of what we can do with the VS Code for NAV. And here are links to official documentation and to my blog and to my YouTube channel. So you can please subscribe. This example you can also find on my GitHub, and to look at it more deeply and more detailed, and or use some features from it. And returning to the name of our webinar, so now I suppose you can answer to yourself, should you be afraid of VS Code or not? Yep. So thank you once again, and I'm ready to answer questions.
Sure. And if people are curious on how to make Git work on VS Code, there is a video for that on the YouTube channel, and Camille will do a Git introduction as a webinar in November. I just know because it's not installed by default. So let's go through the questions. Let's go through the questions. The first question, I think, is a very interesting one from David Singleton. He asks if you had any previous experience with other text-based languages like C# or C++, or was this the first time that you had to switch to a text-based development language?
Great question. No, I didn't have any experience in other languages. So CL was my maybe Pascal in university. Yeah. So that is why I was afraid.
But now that you have worked with it and with the IntelliSense, you feel comfortable.
Yeah, I think I can tell that it took me maybe one month, maybe 3 weeks or 1 month to feel it the same comfortable as in C-side.
Okay. Then we have a question. Can you change the port numbers like localhost 8080 and port 7049 for publishing to NAV? Those are all configurable, right?
Yes, this is configurable. It's on. It's here.
And that's exactly, I think, port 8080 is the default port, I think, for IIS.
Yes. But as this is a virtual machine, we can influence on it. So this is our virtual machine. Did I answer the question?
Yep. So David Singleton asks a follow-up question. Do you feel that creating a table, for example, is as fast in VS Code as in C-side? Because some basic things you have to type rather than just C-side gives it for free.
Well, it was not such simple in the first, yeah, but now it is quicker in Visual Studio Code than in C-side, because you can, as I showed you, you can use multiply properties in the same time, and you have IntelliSense, and you can just copy and paste as so. it is now, after some months in Visual Studio Code, it is quicker to create table and even page in Visual Studio Code than in C-side.
Good. I think we covered most of the questions. I answered them using the answering window in VS Code. If you have any more questions, you can go to Dmitry's blog or send him an email, or when the webinar is on YouTube, you can ask questions in the YouTube thread. I think we should wrap up with a big compliment from Waldo. Waldo is saying, nice app example. I think that's something that you can put in your as a compliment, Dmitry.
Thank you, Waldo.
So with that, thank you for attending this webinar. Keep an eye on the newsletter. I will probably send the newsletter out somewhere next week, announcing the webinars of November. And to all of you, if you are attending NAV Tech Days, see you there. I will be hanging around the App Alliance booth, or on Friday morning I will be presenting together with Michael Nielsen. So see you there, or see you next time online. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.